A wise man once said, "They love you when you are on all the covers. When you're not, then they love another." And with a notable self-serving exception, Rachel Zegler is no longer on all the covers. Let's see why Hollywood discarded the starlet at whose feet they placed the world not too long ago, and how the same easily could happen again with someone else. There are not many movie stars left. There's Tom Cruise, there's Jason Statham, and there's Adam Sandler that all have their shticks and their own reliable audiences at certain budget levels. But the era where Hollywood knew that if you put this or that star in your movie, it would guarantee so and so much at the box office is over. And that, in no small part, is on Hollywood. Every once in a while, though, the industry will anoint someone and try to manufacture a star out of them, hoping the audience will buy into the entirely artificial hype they then proceed to influence into existence around them with the Hollywood spin machine. They did that with Sam Worthington, they did it with Taylor Kitsch, and they did it with Jonathan Majors, and now, most recently, they did it with Rachel Zegler, and it worked no better for her than it did any of the others. While Zegler currently is in the headlines, the reason for that is a seed piece in ID magazine, the contents of which has seeded numerous other articles, such as this one in Deadline Hollywood and this one in The Guardian, which seeded this one in Forbes. But behind it all is the ID piece, which isn't so much a spin piece as it is a woe is me desperation piece, motivated by that Zegler's play Evita just isn't selling as many tickets as the producers needs it to. And as both The Guardian, Forbes, and our good friends over at Bleeding Fool pointed out, ticket sales are further undermined by the increasing awareness that the big finale is held on a balcony for the random passerbys outside, while it's televised for the actual paying ticket holders inside the venue. The holders of the most expensive premium tickets in particular were annoyed by that. So however cute a gimmick it may have been, it backfired spectacularly. Point is, things are not great for Rachel Zegler right now, even if she is headlining Evita. That is a huge step down from headlining massive big-budget would-be blockbusters. But after a string of box office flops, culminating with a massive failure that was Snow White, a movie which may have lost Disney upwards of $300 million, she won't be doing that anymore. Especially since Disney latched onto the opportunity to place the failure of that movie at her feet. As we have pointed out in multiple previous videos though, that was unfair. You see, Snow White was always going to fail, with or without Zegler, because Disney made an activist movie which the audience never wanted. Indeed, that is why Zegler was hired for it in the first place. The activist producers and filmmakers wanted an activist lead, and outside of her ability to sing and dance, that's what Zegler is, a Gen Z Greta Thunberg-style raging TikTok activist, completely out of touch with reality.
How dare you!
That is what Disney initially wanted for Snow White. And while Zegler came across as particularly unlikable in her disparagement of the original animated classic, which did not sit well with the audience, she was in fact regurgitating talking points she had been supplied by her handlers at Disney, as evident by her co-star Gal Gadot saying exactly the same things.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is...
She's not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Difference is, unlike Rachel Zegler, Gal Gadot isn't actively unlikable. What Disney hadn't considered when hiring Zegler as their lead activist for their activist movie is that activists are gonna activist, including for the Palestine cause, even during Disney working hours, and that is not a cause that Disney had co-signed. That's when they were ready to throw her under the bus and let her alone take the fall for a movie they never should have made, certainly not the way that they chose to make it. Meanwhile, Zegler tried to signal some more virtue, speaking out against Trump, and the backlash was quick and brutal, contributing towards sending her into therapy, as she makes a point of in the Woe is Me desperation seed piece, and therefore all others derived from it. But she can choose positivity and light and happiness in the face of justified backlash all she wants. Doesn't change the fact that she is certified box office poison now, and Hollywood is done with her. In the Woe is Me piece, she says, I can really only echo the Hacks actor Hannah Einbinder in saying that a platform becomes a responsibility, and that responsibility is ours to use as we please, thereby letting any prospective employer know that despite all the backlash she got, despite Disney even telling her to knock it off, her activism, which obviously comes from an emotional, uninformed point of view, comes first. But Hollywood only wants to signal their activism and virtue, they don't actually mean it, meaning they can't really work with true believers like Rachel Zegler. Case in point, her only upcoming movie, She Gets It From Me, set to co-star Marissa Tomei and be directed by Julia von Heinz, was announced in April of 2025. It's a comedy drama based on a true story, where Zegler plays a young woman searching for her birth mother, and the movie is unlikely to ever see the light of day, because it can't get funding. Though I suspect it could, if the producers were to ditch Zegler and replace her with, for instance, Jenna Ortega, someone who actually is popular with the audience. And that's the thing here. Rachel Zegler and other would-be stars like Jonathan Majors before her were anointed by the Hollywood spin machine. To draw a political parallel, there was no primary where they had to prove themselves and demonstrate that they had the charisma and ability to actually win anyone over. No, for reasons known only to their agents, they were just put in the star position, and the audience were expected to fall in line and worship them like good sheeple. But it didn't work out like that, because that's not how enduring stars are made. Take Jason Statham. He may be the quintessential tough guy action man today, but he first gained public attention as a down-on-his-luck small-time criminal in London's underworld, who was on the run from far bigger fish than himself. Any fistfight his early characters were in would last for exactly 2 hits. That's him being hit and him hitting the ground, because his action man persona that we take for granted today only evolved over time and over multiple different movies and different types of roles, till the audience voted him in with their ticket-buying dollars as the successor to Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. Same thing with Wednesday herself, the aforementioned Jenna Ortega. The young female audience that should be responding to Rachel Zegler but are not, are responding to Jenny Ortega, because she wasn't simply anointed to be Wednesday. No, she had proven herself first. Zegler, by contrast, like Jonathan Majors before her, was anointed for a far bigger star presence than she had the resume or following to justify. And then, rather than trying to prove herself worthy of the opportunity placed at her feet, like Sam Worthington and Taylor Kitsch tried their level best to do when fortune came knocking at their doors, Zegler instead went all in on virtue signaling and Hollywood's brand of activism, in the process showing herself to be completely out of touch with the real world and unlikable as hell in the process. So, what have we learned? Anointing stars rarely works, as that means you are elevating someone to the spotlight that the audience never voted for. But that's what we learned. Did Hollywood learn that, or will they set someone else up to fail by shoving them down our collective throats next? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you appreciate takes like this, then please like this video, help share it, and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on more like it.